Yeah, happy Sunday and all that. I did not want to make this video. I'm trying to watch Netflix and whatever, or Hulu or whatever else is on TV. But I've been going back and forth like a tennis match all day with Ohio State fans trying to justify the crying that Ryan Day does. Crying Ryan Day has got to be. No, he's not. He doesn't got to be. He is the biggest crybaby in sports. Period. I know you're saying, why aren't you making Clemson videos? Well, I do make Clemson videos. They got their own problems. But guess what? I got 99 problems, but Ryan Day ain't one. The biggest crybaby in all of sports. And it's not even particularly close. He cries when they win. He cries when they lose. And not only does he cries immediately after the game, and he cries for the entire year after until you face them again, if you're lucky enough to face them again. What we saw yesterday at Notre Dame, congratulations to the Bucknuts for winning the game against Notre Dame. Notre Dame handed you that game, by the way. You do have to realize that, don't you? If you don't realize that, I don't know what to tell you. Same way that Clemson handed the game to Florida State. It is what it is. But guess what Dabo Swinney didn't do after the game? He didn't cry about it, did he? Dabo Swinney, yeah, he says some stuff I don't like. I know he's been labeled the crybaby of college football. He's got nothing on Ryan Day. Shit, he should probably call Ryan Day and be like, man, my crybaby routine situation has really been slipping over the past few years. Can you give me some pointers on how to perfect it? This guy cries after a win on the field immediately. I mean, the clock's hit 0. 5 seconds later, he's on the field crying about a 90-year-old man who said something on game day. And so I've been going back and forth with the Ohio State fans all day because I posted something on there about crying Ryan Day, which is what he is. And by the way, too, I can acknowledge as a Clemson fan that, yeah, some of the shit that Dabo Swinney says comes off as crying over the years, right? But it doesn't even hold a candle to Ryan Day. Has Dabo Swinney ever been on the field after beating somebody and attacking a 90-year-old man for something he said on ESPN? You've got to be kidding me with this. They go, oh, Pete, he was just really fired up about the win. The first thing that came across Ryan Day's peanut brain after one of the biggest wins of his head coaching career was, I'm going to attack a 90-year-old man that said something on game day? You've got to be kidding me with this. You should, look, if you're an Ohio State fan, you should be embarrassed. You should be calling him out for this, saying this is unacceptable. Instead, you're defending him, which is even more sad. But you know what? The nut doesn't fall far from the tree, does it? The buck nut doesn't fall far from wherever the tree that produces buck nuts is. Because they were the biggest crybaby fan base in all of America, too. I guess it's fitting. Can you imagine? You just went on the road and had maybe the biggest win of the season, 4 weeks in, against Notre Dame, who's a legit team. And by the way, Notre Dame handed that game to you the same way that Clemson handed that game to Florida State. They outplayed you the entire game. You know it, and I know it. And the first thing that comes across your mind when you're talking to whoever the reporter is on the post-game interview is, Lou Holtz? You've got to be kidding me with this. They go, Pete, how is Ryan Day a crybaby? I don't know. He cried for 2 effing years. 2 years! About referees against Clemson when they lost to Clemson in the playoffs. 2 years. They lose to Georgia last year in the playoffs. He cried about it all the way up until they kicked off the first game of this year. I mean, literally a week before kickoff, Ryan Day is being interviewed about the playoffs last year, and he's crying about the refs in that game too. Does this guy stop crying? Ever? Ryan Day is an absolute joke, an embarrassment to the Buckeye fan base. And they follow him like a bunch of, when you see those little, I don't know where you live. Where I live, there's a bunch of ducks and ponds and stuff. And you see that, the bigger duck, I'm assuming it's the mother duck, maybe the dad duck. I don't know. I'm not a zoologist. And they're following behind, bobbing their head back and forth like so. Following the mama duck, whatever the mama duck or the daddy duck or whatever duck it is does, they do exactly what it does. And the Buckeye fan base is no different. They follow behind the duck, Ryan Day, and cry about Lou Holtz, a 90-year-old man who could barely speak. That's the first thing on your mind after that game is Lou Holtz? Look, let me tell you something. I don't know what... Ohio State's a very good football team. They are very talented. If Ryan Day is your head coach, you're never going anywhere. Write it down, stamp it, tattoo it on your forehead if you have to, or tattoo it on your backwards if you have to, so that when you look in the mirror, it reads correctly. Because you're not going anywhere with somebody like that. You're just not. You're not. This is a 44-year-old man who uses Just for Men on his beard, and everybody knows it. And he's on the field afterwards, bags under his eyes, looking like he's been smoking crack for the past 3 weeks, crying about friggin' Lou Holtz. What a joke. What a joke of a coach. What a joke of a football program. He'll be out of there in probably 5 years. And by the way, it won't be at least 3 or 4 years from now. All of you Ohio State fans will be agreeing with me. You'll be agreeing with me. After he craps the bed in the postseason, either this year or next year or the year after, and doesn't win anything, you'll be ready to run him out on a rail. You know it, and I know it. You'll be coming back to this channel, if it still exists, which it probably won't after this video, and saying, Pete, you were right, Ryan Day is no good. That's not a leader of men. Crybabies don't lead anybody, except for other crybabies. Suck nuts.